When my parents married, how could they have known that they would become the cornerstone that would not only leave a great legacy, but build a strong foundation for their children to stand on?
Our parents were loving, kind, and caring people, not only to each other and their children, but to others.
I consider being born into this family with these parents one of the best blessings, I've had. Very loving, caring parents. Dad taught us discipline at an early age, taught us how to use our hands and work with our hands that would, no matter what, would never go hungry because we'd be able to work, no matter, doing whatever we needed to be doing. He taught us how to respect and value other people's opinions, and in business, he taught us that the customer is always right, and that led us to believe that, other people have opinions too, and he taught us to be involved in the community.
They were just very patient with all of us. And having 10 children, you can imagine the goings-on that was in the house. But it didn't matter what you did. They were always supported you and loved you, and unconditionally. If you did something you thought was the worst thing in the world, it didn't matter.
My love for God and the Catholic faith comes from the example my parents shared with me. First and foremost, the loving and respectful marriage that they had. The encouragement that they gave one another to participate and to serve in different church communities in areas where they could offer their personal talents.
They loved the church. My mom has told me for years, she's told me that as a young girl, she went to daily mass with my grandfather, with her dad, and they would walk to church in Juarez, to the Sagrado Corazon. And I said, well, why didn't Mama Emma go, your mom? And she said, well, she had all the little ones at home. So it was just, my father and I would go to mass every day. And she continued that. When she married my dad, they went to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, because he was in the military. And she said, even in all the snow, I would get up, put on my heavy coat, and take the bus to get to Mass. Most of the time I'd arrive late, and then my coat would start dripping all the ice and snow on the floor of the church, and there would be a puddle there.
We are standing on the shoulders of giants. When I reflect on the mission of the Diocese of El Paso, this local church, I am reminded of the many great works of so many people. In this faith community, Elvia and Rudy Miles are giants. I had a good fortune of knowing them personally, first when I was assigned at St. Patrick Cathedral as parochial vicar under the leadership of then Father Rick Maddy, who was the rector. Through the years, I've learned and witnessed the tremendous contribution of Rudy and Elvia to this diocese, and particularly their parish, St. Patrick Cathedral. And they did it in a quiet and unassuming way. Elvia was president of the Altar Society at one time, and also sometimes helped out with the money counters. She had this particular concern for the poor in the community, especially the children, the poor babies at Sacred Heart. Rudy was president of the parish council and also was instrumental in the renovation of the cathedral church when it was hit by a lightning. Both of them were involved at one time with the Sarah Club that pray and support the vocation ministry of the diocese. They were good stewards of the blessing that God has given to them and shared it with their faith community, and they impressed upon their children the importance of service.
My father was a founding member for the foundation for the Diocese of El Paso. So they've always been great examples, not only to live a moral life and a civic life, but a faithful life as well.
One very prevalent memory I have of my mom growing up is every night when I would pass by her room, she was kneeling down saying her prayers. And that was her daily routine, which encouraged all of us to do the same. Even today, if I mention to my mom that I have a sleepless nights and stuff, her response is to pray. Well, I love that. I love her faith, her conviction, and her certainty about her faith.
They're well deserving of it. They have helped in their community. They've helped just anybody who needed help. They've always been very giving. Anybody in need, they're always willing to help in any way that they could help them.
They don't expect any kind of recognition in any way. Their parents, well, in particular my mother's parents, were very, very involved in the church as well. And I think you just grow up with that, and it does become a part of your life. So it's just part of who they are.
I wish my father was here to see it. And then in another way, you know, he was such a humble man, you know, that maybe it's better that he receives this posthumously, because you know, he would have said, you know, it's nothing, you know, we don't deserve it. There's other people that have done much, much more. And he's probably right. There probably are other people out there much more deserving, but not to take anything away from my father, but he was a very deserving recipient of this award, as is my mother,
The Foundation for the Diocese of El Paso is honored to present Rudy and Elvia Miles with the 3rd Annual Dei Gratia Award.